You can learn this. Like if you want to learn to make 2 to 4 grand a month, great. You can buy in and do this. You don't even have to market this to make money. That's kind of the key thing about this is for me, it's great if we bring on 1 million people, but I'm here to teach you and you specifically how to make a few $1,000s a month, right? So not only could this be used to get great referrals in the program, right? But also just to have an everyday side hustle. Um, and that's basically how this got started. Community is growing fast, which is really good. And there's a lot of new folks, and there's a lot of members that's been with us since day one. And it's just good seeing the results and kind of everybody on board in the same mindset. You have to know nothing about sports. And what I'm going to do is actually share a slide with you just to kind of give you a very high level of what we do. And we'll just dive right into that. All right, cool. So I'm going to share my screen here and just walk through this little PowerPoint. So, we call this a profit loop. Basically, it's a 5-step process, you can call it. We'll just go through the steps and I'll talk more detailed each step on the next slide. But step one would be to get a bonus. So if you're in a state that may have a FanDuel or DraftKings, I've seen a lot of Arizona, Colorado, you may have seen, hey, bet $5 and get $150 in free bets, right? Well, if you've ever been to the casino on your birthday and you've gotten free play from the casinos for slots or any other type of games, that's kind of what this is, right? So number one, when you deposit money in the sports books, you're going to get a bonus, right? Step two would be to convert that bonus to actual cash. Again, we'll touch on more details next slide, but just to elaborate a little further, if you got $10 of free play, it's not cash, right? You got to play through that amount before you can actually cash out and it becomes yours. Very, very similar to what these sports books do, right? And step three is exactly that. It'd be completing the rollover that's required. Or I'm sorry, step three. Step four would be just to withdraw your money. And step five would be to repeat the process. So again, 5 steps. Now we're going to dive in just a little bit deeper to touch on each one. So step one is to get the bonus. How do you get a bonus, right? When you put money into a sports book, they're going to give you a bonus. If you've already used a FanDuel or a DraftKings, you probably wouldn't be eligible for the welcome bonuses. And that's kind of what these go upon, right? So you go into the sports book, you're going to get a bonus, right? And then when you get this bonus, it's either going to be cash or free play. So you put $200 in a sports book and they give you $200 cash, you literally just made $200 from depositing that sports book, right? If you get it in a form of free play, right, we have to convert that free play to cash. So all that means is we're just placing a wager with these tools that show us how to make these bets and the bet sizes, where basically if you had $200 of free play, we know you can make between $100 and $140 cash, right? And again, you don't have to know what sports to bet on. You don't have to know anything about betting on sports, right? Because all we're doing is using a tool that will basically pick a bunch of wagers for you to make to convert this money. So, as long as you can sign up for a sports book and use the internet, which I think most people can do, and then learn some tools, this is for anybody. Truly is, right? So again, we put money in the sports book, we get a cash bonus, or we get free play. Once we convert that free play to cash, then we have to place what they call as, or excuse me, we have to get through what they call as rollover requirements. If I put 500 bucks into a sports book and they give me $500 cash, there's no way I could just take the money and run, right? It'd be way too easy. And that old saying goes, sports books always win, or the casino always win. It's kind of true, right? But for us, we have tools that allows us to place a wager where we can get through these playthrough requirements, right? If you ever watch football and know who the Detroit Lions are and the Green Bay Packers, just imagine if they were playing each other, you would place one bet on the Green Bay Packers in one sports book and one bet in the Detroit Lions in another sports book, right? Um, one team would have to win and one team would have to lose. So you're hedging your bets, so you're not losing money. You're just losing one bet in one sports book and you're winning in the other. So it's just like you're transferring money from one checking account to another, is how I like to use that term. We use a tool called the low hold tool, and that tool basically will scrape this data for you and show you the different bets to make, right? And I'll show you that here in a little bit, but just want to stick to the PowerPoint here. So once you complete this rollover, you would just withdraw your money. And basically when you withdraw your money, then you're just going to take another bonus, right? So step one, you're going to deposit money in the sports book and get a bonus. Step two, you're going to convert that bonus to cash. Step three, just going to place some wagers to get through the playthrough requirement. And step four, you're just going to withdraw the money and do it again, right? This is just an example here. If you made $100 to $300 each sports book and you load up 10 to 15 sports books, you can make $2,000 to $4,000 a month by kind of repeating the process, right? And just to kind of give a visual of what we're talking about, I'm just going to show you kind of what I mean by, hey, you just got to look at this, the bets and go find the bets in the sports book, right? So this is just a low hold tool, right? And just to show the visual of this is something that we would use daily. And what I'm looking at is basically just a low hold bet, right? So if we had some playthrough requirements, if I deposit money into a sports book and I wanted to make this wager to get through the playthrough requirement, I would basically just have to go to this sports book and find this bet, right? And what this is basically, again, if you don't know anything about sports, you just have to have the ability to read, right? This is Chicago White Sox versus Seattle Mariners. That's baseball. And if you don't know that that was baseball, that's okay because it says baseball right here. And the league would be Major League Baseball or MLB, right? So it's telling you the teams that you have to bet on in this example. It's telling you the market, which is a run line, and you'll learn that inside the program. But basically, it's just saying you have to place a wager on the Chicago White Sox plus 1.5 runs, and then the Seattle Mariners at minus 1.5 runs. Again, this is probably completely new to anybody. And let me tell you, this is more confusing than just going to the bet and probably find this wager. This is just the odds and the lingo that we use. But all you have to do is click on a calculator. Let's say you want to make a $100 wager on this side. The tool just tells you go make a $142 wager on this sports book, right? So basically, you would just go to the sports book, find bet the actual bet in there, and make that wager, right? So just to show that, if I went to Bet 365, just to kind of give an example of a day in the life of what you'll be doing. Um, this is the Mariners minus 1.5 on the run line, right? So I would just go here. Um, what's cool is some of these sites you can just type in the word Seattle, and it'll bring who am I doing again? Oh, yeah, the White Sox. I could just type in the word White Sox and I'll bring up right the bet for me right there. Um, and basically, let me just go back to the main lines. I'm not used to using this sports book. We'll go to Major League Baseball here. And now we're just looking for the White Sox. So I'll find it here. And let me just go back and look at this. So I'd be looking at the Seattle Mariners minus 1.5. So again, this lingo may be new to you, and that's okay. But as long as you can learn how to navigate the tool, which there's great videos and tutorials inside our program, but you can see what I'm saying. When I'm looking at this as Seattle Mariners minus 1.5, you just have to go in a sports book and find that wager. So this will be all new to you, and this is a learning experience. But you can see I have Seattle Mariners minus 1.5. It's wanting me to log in here, but the odds are plus 140. So if I was logged in, I would basically click there and place this wager. And that's basically what we're doing each day. So we're getting free play in the form of cash or some type of promo, and we're making money from that. And we're placing these low hold bets with the tools. And it's the same process over and over. So again, when you come in, you're going to have to learn this stuff. But with the coaching calls, the training, and just the responsiveness of the community, there's a lot of people in the community that are now answering questions on our behalf, which is great to see because everything's growing. But that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting you're getting the ability to learn this stuff. And again, you don't have to know anything about sports. Probably 95% of the community has never bet on sports before, just to give you an analogy of that, right? So just want to share those details, kind of a day in the life. Um, and if there's any other questions that we could definitely answer, I know we want to go over a couple of things. So Nicholas, I'll give it back to you and you can take it from there.
Sounds good. So, Chad, we
Mhm.
have a very special guest, as you know, tonight. This is probably one of your early students that it was actually his testimonial that really pushed me over the edge because when I saw his results over the course of a year and what he was able to do for his family and people that he shared it with, it was absolutely amazing. And he's just such a great guy. He's a firefighter in the Florida area, and we just connected really well. And his name is Robert Lorenzo, and he was one of the big reasons that I made a very big investment in another program so I could work with Chad. It was his testimonial that really put it over the top. So, Roberto, the two of us are going to get out of the way. I want you to tell your story, take your time, and then we'll come on and we'll come on back with you.
It sounds good. Sounds good. Hey, everybody, can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for the introduction, Chad and Nick. I appreciate that. I am a firefighter down here in South Florida. And boy, this has changed my life. As far as a side hustle goes, it is no joke, and I'm being sincere when I say this, is that this stuff works, right? Listen, I'm not affiliated with these guys. They're not paying me to be here. I followed Chad the last several years, and the stuff works. I'll tell a little bit about my story, but I want to tell you guys where I'm at. Right, my first bet took place September of 2024. Um, to date, I'm over $170,000 in withdrawals from the books. Now, that's not all in my pocket because, like Chad had mentioned, you want to recycle that stuff over. But I've been paying down my mortgage since last January. I've never used my payroll check. My son, who's up here, he's in the Marines. Um, he came back from Okinawa. He wanted a car for Camp Lejeune. I was able to pay a car, or split at least with the mom, half of the car with it. So he's got a Toyota Tacoma up in Camp Lejeune driving around. And my daughter, who just got done with high school, different mom. It's complicated, but that's how life is. I was able to split the cost of getting her a Jeep Wrangler also, right? And I never touched any of my payroll checks ever, right? Which is just amazing. I do about 30 minutes a day, maybe 40 minutes a day at the most. And just, basically hedge the bets, use odds jam, and follow the video. So how did I get started with this, right? Um, I signed up for again, flipping sports cards. I collected it when I was a kid. My son goes to the Marines 2 years ago. So I started looking through the cards and I'm like, you know what? I should probably sell these or something or see what I can do with them. Because if not, God forbid the day I'm no longer here, they're probably just going to sell it. And so I got introduced to Chad's system through my onboarding call with a police officer, and I think it was in Pennsylvania or Michigan. I think it was Pennsylvania, for flipping sports cards. So the guy's telling me, "Oh, you're in the fire service." I go, "Yeah, I'm down here in South Florida." His wife is a firefighter out there in Pennsylvania and whatnot. So he goes, "Hey, listen, I'm going to send you a bunch of documents for you to review and answer." He goes, "But if you want to make your money back quickly into the system, or what you put into the system," he goes, "do the sports betting that Chad has put together." And so I was like, all right. So I spent the weekend filling all the paperwork out, about my knowledge of sports cards, and I collected sports cards in the 1990s, right? So I fill all this stuff out and I send it to him. His name was Bill, and I go, you know what? Let me dive into these videos that Chad's talking about, right? Because part of flipping sports cards is if you got to put money up front, you got to get them graded. You got to have an eye for what it is. It's going to take time. And then you send them out for grading and then they would come back and it might be hit or miss. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds pretty complicated, like a side hustle, right? I got a full-time job, yeah, again, in the fire service. And so I start watching the videos and I'm like, okay. I don't do any, I've never done sports betting. I played sports, I played basketball. We do the firefighter games in Florida, with other fire departments. We play softball, basketball. A lot of our guys go ski shooting. We play full court 3-on-3, but our flag football also. But I never sports bet. I had no idea that the negative meant something or the plus odds meant something. Um, I kind of understood a little bit of the lingo, like a run line. Oh, okay, the amount of runs a team, would score. But other than that, I never stepped foot in a casino. I don't like losing my money, right? And that's to me gambling. Um, but what this program is, or what Chad has developed, this is sports betting. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go down this avenue. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna switch over back to the sports cards. Well, I took it like a college class, right? This is what I tell a few of the guys that I work with. college class. I took notes. I kind of broke it down in segments. I got onto a lot of calls. I would ask questions in the forums at the time, and I certainly would reach out to Chad quite a bit. So God bless him for that. But it took me about, I would say, 3 months of doing it every day consistently and just small amounts, right? Because navigating the sports books. I had no idea what a bet slip was, right? And so, I'm looking at the different books and okay, so then you start, getting the rhythm of it. Okay, kind of the books are laid out the same way. There's bet slips, okay. The software, odds jam, okay. How do I do the promo converter? How do I do the free play? How do I do the hedge bet? Okay. And how do I track all that at the end of the day? I ended up creating a sheet for me back in the day, and now there's a much more updated sheet, which is fantastic. But it's uh, it's been crazy again. So since January 2025, my mortgage been I've been paying my mortgage off, which is what 2647 a month, I believe. Haven't touched my payroll check. Everything has been set up on a different account, so I can deposit and withdraw from the sports books via the exchange. And that money, I use Ally Bank, and that's where my money comes out of. And man, I will follow Chad anywhere when it comes to this stuff. Um, this community is hopping much more than where I had met Nick. These are two solid guys. Again, I'm not getting paid for these guys by these guys or anything like that. I just, I guess I'm in the service of giving, and I love that. And if you guys can just once you master it, right? There's always little nuances. If once you master it, you're looking at 30 minutes a day for the return on thousands a month. It is a no-brainer. No-brainer. It's crazy. It's crazy. I had a few guys on chat too asking me a few questions privately, which is great. But I tell you what, this system works if you follow it. Take it like a college class, right? Most of us are well beyond those years. Take your notes, break it down like the videos show. Um, they can't guarantee it because they own the company, but I can guarantee it because I'm not involved. I don't get paid. I can guarantee you follow the videos, you ask questions, and you do it consistently and stay under the radar, right? You want to when you're making your bets, you don't want to open up a book and like wager $1,000, right? Boom, first time in the book. But stay under the radar, and in the videos it talks about that, and we all got experience with this. I'm telling you, you will make money. Bottom line. Sorry, they can't say that, and that's okay. I can because I've done it. I continue to do it. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you very much
that's about it, man. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to jump on here and yeah, good
yeah,
stuff.
your testimonial is something else. Like I said, I would not be here today. This company would not be formed. The three of us wouldn't be talking to all these people if it wasn't for your testimonial. So I will always be indebted to you. And one day I'll do something special for you. Maybe I'm going to try to get you retired. That'll be
There you go. Hey, I'll take it. Sure.
perfect.
But I want to introduce you to a couple lovely ladies who have actually done this, right? Not just us. They have done this. They've jumped in and never even known sports betting themselves, right? They do know sports. If you guys know Danielle, she knows sports. She's from Texas. Her kids played sports, but the betting aspect of it, she had no clue about the betting aspect. So, all right. So before you got started with this, what was your biggest concerns or your biggest doubts?
Well, I'm not a person who likes to learn new things. So I was really scared because I didn't know what I was doing. Um, I guess just the fear of the unknown of just not knowing what to do. Because I'm the kind of person that I like to know what to do because I normally teach other people what to do.
Yeah,
And not knowing what to do was very, very scary for me.
100%. So, what surprised you most once you got started?
How I picked it up pretty quick. I've been told by my bestie that I'm one of the fastest learners he's had. I don't know if he's just telling me that because he loves me, but um, I was just really surprised at the repetition, how easy it was to learn the repetition, and that I should not have been afraid to try it from the very beginning.
100%. It took you a little bit to get started too, right? Once you've seen it, it took you a little bit to get going.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Like
so
I said, at it. I mean, I watched a lot of the training that was in the back office, and I'm more of a doer. So like I'm more of a I need to do it to understand it and learn it. But once I actually, so I sat on it for several weeks before. I mean, I paid for it and everything, and I just didn't start. And then, which is one thing that we always say is don't let the start keep you from starting.
mhm.
And but once I got going, and then I saw how repetitive the process was, I was like, oh, okay. And then like the next day we'd have to, get back together, and I still was fuzzy with remembering what to do, but like the more I did it, the faster I went.
I love it. I love it. So if someone on this call is sitting there thinking like right now, like, well, I don't know if I can do this, what would you tell them?
Um don't be like me and just start, because the things that you guys are going to provide to everybody are going to make this very attainable, even if you don't know sports. I mean, I love sports. I love football. I love baseball. Those are really my two favorites. But even if you don't know sports, you don't have to know it. Like all you have to do is know the process. It's just like you said with the letter writing. Like this is what I write, this is who I write to, then I mail it, and then I get my money, and then I convert. Well, it's exactly the same thing. It's just in a different scenario, I guess.
Yeah.
But I would tell them to take a chance and try it out for sure.
All right. And then last question I got for you. Knowing what you know now, are you glad that you got started?
Absolutely. I've been able to cash out 3 times already, and I've been doing this since I think the 2nd of this month, and I've cashed out 3 times.
So what state do you live in?
Texas.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, thank you, Danielle.
You're
Um,
welcome.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring up now another lady who didn't know anything about sports betting as well. Her name is Tara, all the way from Florida. Tara, are you here? Is she on this call?
I am. I'm right here.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share, and I'm going to go find my things that I have. So I got some questions for you too, but my all my stuff is all over the place. All right, so first question I got for you, and I want you to be honest about this. Before this, how much did you know about sports betting?
A big old zero.
Nothing
Nothing.
at all about sports betting.
Nothing.
That is awesome.
Never did a sports bet in my life.
So then, what made you give it a chance, anyways? Then.
I like math and money, and I was told that I didn't need to know anything about those things.
That's amazing stuff. The same thing we said with Danielle. Like, what would you say to someone on this call who's worried about not knowing enough? What would you say to them?
You don't have to know anything about sports. You don't have to watch the sports. You don't have to care about the team, and you don't have to care who wins because we bet on both sides.
Yeah. And have you cashed out any already? You live in Florida.
I did. I cashed out. I did my entire profit loop in 30 days and cashed everything out, and I started my new cycle today.
And then how many people did you have to talk to make that money? Did you have to go talk to your aunt, your uncle down the road, anybody at all?
No.
All right.
Now I have talked to people because they saw my success, but I didn't have to make money.
100%. And so the last question, like I had with Danielle, is knowing what you know now, are you glad that you got started?
100%. Yes.
It's like my favorite word, 100%. And it's just really, there's like we should just call it the 100% because it's so, once you get going and you get over that fear, it's just so amazing. It really is. So I appreciate everything and I hope you enjoy that Florida weather.
I will just say Nick is absolutely right. I fought him on this when he told me about it. I was like, Nick, I don't know anything about sports. I don't watch sports. I'm not passionate about sports. This probably isn't going to be a good fit for me. Then he was like, it's okay. Your husband likes sports. And I was like, not really, actually. Neither one of us watch sports or follow sports or know anything. I mean, I'm sure my husband knows a thing or two about sports, but we don't keep up with it. So I was like, it's probably not going to be a good thing for me. But Nick being Nick and us having the friendship we have, he used his power of persuasion, and so I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. What have I got to lose? So I jumped in, I bought the course, and a lot of the terminology was a foreign language to me. I hopped on a Zoom call with Nick and Chad, and I was like, you guys, I'm going to be honest, I don't understand any of this. So they were gracious enough to walk me through just depositing into my first sports book and kind of getting that first bet under my belt, and showing me how to use the software. And ever since then, it really is super easy. The software does all of the heavy lifting for me. I still to this day do not know what the team names, what sports they belong to, but there's a nifty little dual button that Chad showed me, and that pops up both of the sports books that I need to place my bet in, and 90% of the time it fills in the bet slip for me. So I don't need to know what sport, what team, what play. I don't understand any of that. I just click that dual button in the software. It pops up the sports books. I kind of just quickly glance over and make sure all of the numbers match up in the bet slip and in the software. And as long as everything looks, pretty identical and matches up, I'm in there like swimwear, and I click the go button. And I've been in for about 3.5 weeks now, I think, but there have been a handful of days where I have forgotten to take a bet. So I'm not, the best at this side hustle. There are plenty of days where I just forget to do it. And every day that I have remembered to do it, I've only really taken one bet a day. And I think that there are plenty of people in the community that take more than one bet a day. I don't. So start to finish, each bet takes me like 5-10 minutes just to search up in the software and then make sure that my bet slip matches up and then place my bet, and I'm done. So 5-10 minutes a day on the days that I remember. And in the 3.5 weeks that I've been in this, I've only placed, I think today I actually placed my 14th bet, but after my 12th bet, I had already more than doubled the money that I started with, about double and a half of it, basically. And then, yeah, I've just been moving through. Since I am in Arizona, there's a lot of stateside books that I can use apparently. So Chad just kind of points me from one book to the next, and I utilize all of the bonus bet money and, double and triple my money and then withdraw it and put it into another one and kind of keep the process going. And I just follow the blueprints. I just follow the steps, and I let the software do the heavy lifting. And so far my money is multiplying and growing beautifully. And I have shared it with some people, and they've been able to get started, and a couple of them are in Canada. I hear they have better books over there, so I'm a little jealous of them. But yeah, everybody seems to be enjoying it so far, and it is very easy peasy. And I am happy to officially be able to say you definitely do not need to understand sports at all, because I sure don't, and it's working out just fine for me. So that's about all I've got to say so
If
far.
she can do it, anybody can do
Anybody can.
it. So if she can do it, anybody can do it. Next week, we're going to be out in Vegas. We're going to a seminar, but we're going to be there on our laptops, probably putting sports bets in, and people are going to ask, what are you doing? What are you doing? And we're just going to recruit everybody there as well, probably. Who knows? So it'll be a good time. Thank you very much, Peyton. I hope you get that air conditioner fixed tonight, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So next, I'm going to bring on one of our top affiliates. I'm going to bring on Chad as well. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A, but before we do that, Michael, can you speak towards, being that you're one of our top affiliates, you are actually our first person to sign up. Can you talk a little bit about the affiliate plan, and maybe not go too in depth, but how can they make money aside from the sports betting?
Yeah, and let me just reiterate again, the best thing about this is you don't have to tell people. And that's kind of what I was looking for, even though I've had some success in network marketing. I kind of got sick of starting over and, something happened with the company or they changed their comp plan. So I was really looking for something where I don't have to tell anyone. If I do, cool. But I want to be in control. I want to be my own boss. I want to decide how much money do I want to make today? How much money do I want to make this week? And how much money do I want to make each month? And LGM has really given me that freedom and control that I was looking for. Even though I do love to tell people, I love to teach people about this. I love to make videos about it and learn from Chad every single day whenever he goes live in school on a Zoom. But yeah, the best thing about the compensation plan, if you do want to share, is it's so easy because there's no pressure to share, right? Most of the time you get into some company, and unless you tell people and they come in, you're not going to make money. Here, it's the exact opposite. It's kind of like, take it or leave it. I just made $5,000 this month. If you want to, you can. If you don't, you don't. Come back in June and we'll see if you want to make an extra 5 or 10 grand.
Hey, Nick. Hey, Chad.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well.
Perfect. So if you could, Rob, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Just tell people a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you got into this, and how do you feel from when you started to how things are going now?
All right. I'm going to try to drag this out, but I don't think I can. It's very plain and simple.
Okay.
Like a lot of folks, I tried various different ways about making online, and sure, I made $1,000 here, $1,000 there. But overall, I am not a marketer. So with this program, I don't have to tell a soul if I don't want to. I'm a poker player, and a lot of my poker playing friends are also bettors. So a while back, a number of months ago, I got into some sports betting. I would, take this person's advice, win a little bit, lose a little bit more, take somebody else's advice, win a little bit, lose even more. And then I told Nick what I was doing one day, and he says, "Let me show you something." So Nick and I made great progress in the last little bit. And even though I was making some progress with the concept that he was trying to show me, he didn't know it until a month or two after, but I still kept a book or two on the side because I just could not give up my straight bets. And I thought to myself, how cool would it be on the low hold days if I could place a couple of bets and then make up for what the few dollars that I was losing on the low hold days. And I was doing that about 2 days out of 7. So that wasn't working. So finally, a few weeks ago, I told Nick, okay, I'm all in with this program. And while Nick helped me a lot in the beginning, I'm able to, do my 45 minutes to an hour a day, and I'm satisfied with the way things are turning out. And Nick knows me well enough that I'm pretty anal about my Excel sheets. So I go by the bottom line. And my bottom line is I started with about $3,000 a number of months ago, and I've withdrawn just over $25,000 now.
That is absolutely amazing. Drop some fire, drop some love in the chat for Rob. He has done very, very well, very exceptionally well with this. Like I said, his results might not be your results, but Rob has told you 25K he's earned. Past profits are not indicative of future results. All of this does carry a little bit of risk, but Chad has eliminated a lot of the risk. The only risk is really user error.
This is truly the first opportunity I've been in where I'm seeing everybody winning. I was a teacher for 17 years. I was able to retire in 2020 thanks to network marketing. And I've, been in a couple businesses. And of course, most of the time, in order to make money, you have to share it with people, right? You got to build. A lot of people don't like doing that. They're scared of rejection, whatever it is. They can't find a network of people that want to join with them. And that's why I love this, is that everyone can win. You don't need to share. If you do want to share, you can make, even extra money. But the fact that everyone is winning, right, just makes it so much more fun, right? Literally, your pitch to this is, hey, do you want to have lots of fun and make money and you don't have to tell anyone else about it? That's about it right there, right? So guys, I just want you to make sure you wrap your head around what you just saw Chad do. Okay. He wasn't like trading and got lucky because he, bought Google and it went up a certain day, right? What he did there is what I do every day, is what Dustin does every day, is what Doug does every day, is what Brad, all the people on our team. This is it. What he just did is repeatable. And like the guy said, if you're new to all this, you were probably like, I have no idea what he just did. That looked complicated, over, under, odds. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, we, take care of all that. We've helped people who have no idea about sports. So don't worry about that. That's the whole reason we have LGM, right? Because what he just showed you might not make sense to you right now. The second thing that I love about this is you are your own boss. Nobody but you is limiting you on how much money you can make with this. If you just want to spend 10 to 15 minutes a day, maybe make an extra 2 to 3 grand a month, you can. If you want to spend maybe 30 minutes a day doing it, make 5 to 7 grand a month, you can. If you really want to hunker down, spend, maybe an hour or so a day doing it to try to make 10 grand a month, you can do that.
Yeah, those stories are incredible, aren't they? And they're real. Those are real people, men and women, that just got into the industry in most cases. But there are people that have experience, but this only started in April of 26. This is brand new. So the potential is enormous around the country. And let me share a quick stat here with you. Look at this here. I just went on to Google how many sports bettors in the USA. Well, 22% of all adults. And 46% of men ages 18 to 49 are participating in sports betting. That's almost half the guys under 50 that are, legal age. Think about that. Then I went down here and I asked, how many sports bettors are there in the US? 22 to 27% of all adults, representing about 50 million adult bettors engaged in sports wagering annually. And it's going up. In fact, they're talking about more people are doing sports wagering than investing, long-term investing. So 1 out of 10. Then I asked this question down here, which was very huge. Look at this. How many sports bettors actually make money? Look at this. 3 to 5% of sports bettors are profitable. It's only 3 to 5 out of 100. And fewer than 1% are consistently making a living from it. The remaining 95% of recreational bettors lose money over time. 95%. So what are we doing here? So this is heavily fueling the massive revenues of the legal sports betting industry. So what are we doing here with Ajetska? And what are we doing here with Linked Up? We are providing a alternative. And as a disclaimer, there's no guarantee. You could lose money because you might not follow directions. You might have bad habits. But the reality is the people that are following directions, they're using the system, they're following it, they're taking the games of the day. They don't care who's playing. They're taking the games. They've got their real money on one book, and they have their free account on the other book. And they're playing both sides. And there's a spread, and they're making profits. And at the end of the week, they settle up. Sometimes they roll it into bigger accounts. Sometimes they pull it out. You got a little bit in your real money, your free account, and some in your real account. The point is, money is being earned daily. No emotion. They don't care who wins, and that's what Chad put together. So thanks for listening. Get back with the person that showed you this video and watch the details. Get the software. Get started in our matrix. Get started in our system, and don't look back. If you want to share it with people, even better. Do you have to share it? Nope. There are many people that don't share this. They just get in. They treat it like a data entry thing. Get in, type everything in, get out 20, 30 minutes or whatever, how long it takes. You could do either way. Okay. And let us know what you want to do, because either way, we're going to help you. Okay. Take care now.